Guys, this is Scott WWFC for the Wolfpack, giving my match preview for the upcoming game against Newcastle.
It's agony, ecstasy, we're all one big family. We've got each other's back. We're the Wolfpack. We're the Wolfpack.
So, with this one, I honestly think it's going to be a game where we dominate most of it and then we'll probably nick it right at the end and make it 1-0. It's one of those games that we are going to have a lot of possession, we're going to have a lot of chances, but I don't reckon we're going to be putting those chances away. And that's partly down to, in recent games, we've struggled to put a lot of our chances away. But also Newcastle's keeper. I'm a big fan of Newcastle's keeper. I think he is a good shot stopper, and it's going to be hard to get past him. But I reckon this is going to be a 1-0 and we'll probably nick it at the end because of that bombardment on their goal. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Newcastle are going to set up well. They've still got some good players in that side, regardless of the amount of injuries they've got currently. And it's one of them where they're vulnerable at the moment. And with us, we'll take advantage of that fully. And because we want to fight for those European places, we'll definitely be up for this game and we'll definitely want the 3 points. That'll bring me to my predicted starting lineup. I reckon Nuno's going to go all out on this one and field a strong side. So it's going to be Patricio and goal in my eyes. At the back, we're going to have Cody, Sace and Dendoncker. On the right, I'm going to have Doherty, and on the left, I'm going to have Johnny. Up front, it's going to be Traore, Raul and Neto will come in because obviously we've lost Jota to injury. And that middle two that are going to dictate the play will be Neves and Moutinho. In recent news, we've had to say goodbye to what I would say is one of the players that we can thank a lot for bringing us here to the Premier League, and that's Ivan Cavallero. He got sent on loan to Fulham, and now Fulham have taken that opportunity to take him full-time, and they've bought him in this January transfer window. To me, I think it's a great loss for us, because personally I think Ivan Cavallero could have still made an impact in our squad, and could have still played in the Premier League. But in Nuno we trust, and Nuno thought different and sent him to Fulham, and he's made an incredible impact at Fulham, and that's why they rightfully want to buy him. So yeah, thank you for the memories, Ivan, and all the best at Fulham, and hopefully we'll see you again down the line if we ever get Fulham in the cup or they come back up to the Premier League. Moving on to our next player, that is Cutrone. Cutrone was in talks with the Italian side Fiorentina, if I remember correctly. However, talks broke down, and unfortunately for him, he's had to come back here, and now he's training with Wolves. As much as I do like him back here with us training with Wolves, because I still think he's a talent, and he could, with a pre-season under Nuno at least, make an impact in a Wolves shirt. He is struggling to settle with us in England. And it's one of them where if he's unhappy because there's nobody here that speaks his language and he's struggling with the English language, he's going to then want to go back home or feel homesick. So for me, yeah, for both parties, it's best that we try and get him on a team, preferably in Italy, where he can settle and enjoy his football again, because he is struggling over here at the moment. However, I would like to see a signing coming in to back up Raul, to replace Cutrone before we let him go. Because obviously we need to make some signings in this window, because with Europe coming up, and then obviously we want a good run in the FA Cup, we're going to want signings. Coming back to the Newcastle game now, something new for my match previews. I've been in contact with a good friend of mine, Binks, NUFC, who is a great YouTuber. I'm a big fan of his. He does amazing work on his channel, and I've asked him to give me his thoughts on the upcoming game with Wolves versus Newcastle. So here it is.
Hello Wolves fans, I'm Binks NUFC, a Newcastle United YouTuber, and I'm going to be doing this opposition preview for the game versus Newcastle versus Wolves, Molineux, 3 o'clock on Saturday. So it's going to be an interesting game. Your lot weren't great at the start of the season, and then you started just growing and growing and growing, and you're sitting 7th in the league. You're doing great, fantastic team, but I'll give you my view on Newcastle United. So we've been in an injury crisis recently, and it's not been great. But it looks like Alan St-Maximin could make his return. Same with Kevin Clark, same with Paul Dummett. Jetro got injured against Leicester, he looks fine. John Joe Shelby, Andy Carroll, who's a massive threat this season. Because people look at it and go, oh, Andy Carroll, he's shite. No, he's got 4 assists this season out of 12 games, and Newcastle United don't score much goals. Against Everton, he got 24 aerial completing. That he's fantastic. He has to start. One player who's been disappointing is Joe Linton, £40 million. I would love to have a striker like Raul Jimenez. Really, really would. He's a fantastic player in Premier League, proven now. He's a fantastic player, Raul Jimenez. And get your views on YouTube, so I wouldn't mind him at the club. But Joe Linton this season, against he couldn't play against a League One defence, and he cost with 40 million. It has been frustrating. It has been, but we've just got to try and not get on his back. But it is hard when he's playing so bad. For me, you don't start him. You start Andy Carroll. I don't know if Maximin will start. You're a lot of very lucky if he doesn't. But if he does, fantastic. Because he murders you at St James's Park. It was the reason we 1-0 up half time. Yeah, he didn't do anything in the goal, but he is a fantastic player. Matt Doherty couldn't cope with him. He really, really couldn't. But obviously your lot came and, well, a sort of a late goal against us, 1-1. I'll happily take another 1-1. My prediction for the game is a 1-0 Wolves. I feel like it will be a tight game, but I think your lot might just nick it with a Raul Jimenez goal. But lads, thanks for having me on. Binks, NUFC on YouTube. I basically do Newcastle United previews, Newcastle United vlogs, reacting to the games. I do FIFA and stuff like that, so if you want to go and check me out, I really would appreciate it. Anyways lads, I'll see you all for the game on Saturday. How are the lads up the mags?
So there you go, guys. That was Binks, NUFC. He said 1-0, and I agree. I totally agree. I reckon it's going to be a 1-0 to us. And I reckon that we will nick it at the end. So yeah, I'm in total agreement with Binks there. It's one of them, like I said at the beginning of the video, Newcastle struggling with injuries. We will capitalise on that. But I reckon for a Newcastle point of view, they'll climb back up that league once everybody starts coming back slowly from injury, because they have a good team there. I'm a big fan of that Saint Maximin. I think that's how you say his name. So yeah, I reckon they'll do well, and they won't be in a relegation battle. I reckon mid-table, around about 13th, 14th, they'll finish. Also, as you can see, I'm wearing an Emerald Club top, and that brings me to the night with the keepers, which is happening at the Emerald Club on Thursday the 6th of February. Tickets are £5 and all proceeds go to the breast cancer charity. This night's featuring Phil Parks and Matt Murray, and the Emerald Club is a wonderful place. It's hosted many events, and this one's going to be right up there with one of the best. So if you want a ticket, head to the Emerald Club, ask behind the bar, and they will be there. Like I say, £5 with all the proceeds go to charity. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, that probably brings the end to my match preview. Not droned on for too long on this one. But yeah, I'm hoping for a 1-0 win for Wolves. And then after we've dealt with Newcastle on Saturday, we'll move on to the Cup replay against Manchester United. And a quick note about that as well. Those ticket prices that Manchester United want to charge us for the Cup replay is, in my eyes, ridiculous. It's one of them where those prices for a Cup replay that arguably is going to feature a second string team from Wolves and United is ridiculous. A lot of my friends who are hardcore Wolves fans have said they're already going to boycott this one because they're not paying those kind of prices. And I don't blame them in a way, because those prices are ridiculous when you consider that you're chucking travel in there, that you're chucking food and drink expenses as well. Manchester United are ripping off the Wolves fans there, and I hope that Fusen have said something to the chairman at the board at Manchester United about those prices, because it's ridiculous. Saying that though, I do hope that we get a good turnout at Old Trafford, because we are one pack, and the more of us that are there, the more noise we can make, because we all know that Old Trafford's just a tourist attraction and it's going to be quiet as hell, so we need to bring the noise basically. And then while we're bringing the noise in the stands, we'll do the damage on the pitch, because Manchester United are not winning that game, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does not know how to beat Nuno. And that's fact, in my opinion. But anyway, less about that, more about Newcastle. Newcastle this Saturday at the Molineux. If you haven't got a ticket already, or if it hasn't sold out already, get down there as fast as you can and make some noise at the Molineux. And yeah, that's it for now. I've been Scott WWFC. This is for the Wolfpack, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.
We've got each other's back.